Sherry, we get questions all the time from people who want to know if Echoes of Recovery, our peer support group for the partners of alcoholics, if Echoes of Recovery is right for them. And so you and I thought, well, let's make a video series, a series of 6 videos that talks about helping people to determine whether Echoes is a place where they belong, whether Echoes is right for them. One of the criteria that people wonder about is, what about the drinking status of my partner? My partner is still actively drinking, shows no signs of stopping. My partner's in early sobriety. My partner's in long-term sobriety. Or I've moved on from my partner and we're no longer in relationship. What we found, Sherry, is that that's not really a determining factor. Any of those categories fit, right? We have people in all of those situations in Echoes of Recovery.
Yes, absolutely. I think that sometimes I find that like some of our conversations with people that are like, oh, my partner's still drinking, that it seems like that, or I'm no longer with my partner, are the two ends that seem to get a lot of questions thinking, should I be here?
Yeah.
Should I be here?
Almost like insecurity about whether it's a good fit for them.
Right. And you can't like, I mean, we all know we can't like force our partner to quit drinking. So, it's just helping you and having a place for you and a sounding board. And I know that there are a lot of people that have been in your shoes when they first joined, and maybe their partner has stopped drinking and early sobriety, or maybe now even long-term sobriety, or they have separated. So, I mean, there's just a lot of people that are there to support you through those really hard times.
That's right. The drinking status of your partner, of the drinker, is not a determining factor about whether or not you belong. However, we are going to go through 6 things in a series of 6 videos that are determining factors. Does this resonate with you? And if so, then maybe you do belong in Echoes of Recovery. What we're going to talk about on video number 1 is nervous system repair. Being in a state of active nervous system is really, really difficult. This is fight, flight, fawn, or freeze. This is meant for when you're under attack from a bear. And when you live with an alcoholic, like you lived with me, Sherry, you're in that nervous system activation all the time. It's meant for a few times a year, not being in that state constantly throughout the year. Did you even know when this was happening to you? I mean, you hear the term walking on eggshells a lot. Did you know you were constantly ready to go, ready to choose one of those 4, fight, flight, fawn, or freeze?
Not early on, and well, I would say not even for a long time. I just felt like that's how I was. And then it got to the point where I was just feeling like that with everything, every encounters with my family members. I wouldn't say necessarily encounters with my friends, but encounters with the coworkers if there was like a conflict of interest, or we owned a bakery at that time also, and I worked there, or like if there was like a situation where I had to explain to someone that their order wasn't ready, I just like I was like ready to like fight and battle back, and just kind of realizing that was driving my anxiety through the roof. So I realized then, and that was a long time into the relationship.
Yeah.
16, 17 years that I was, a little higher strung, a little more amped up. So then I started to feel like, yeah, I guess I do have some issues. Like I do have problems that are related to being in that higher level of nervous system deregulation.
You were in activation.
Yeah. And I didn't have any idea like what it was or what it was doing, and I just thought it was, and it was all related to living with an active alcoholic, but
it's really interesting
I didn't know what it was.
Yeah, it's interesting how it filtered out into other parts of your life as well. It isn't just isolated to dealing with me, unfortunately. But it's a tough place to be in, and that's in our Echoes of Recovery group. Nervous system regulation is something we work on a lot with folks, and helping them get unstuck from being stuck in constant nervous system activation. One of the key things that we work a lot on is detachment. When people first learn about detachment, they think detachment is a punishment for the drinker. I'm not going to interact with them. I'm going to remove myself emotionally. Maybe I'm going to remove myself physically. and punish them for their bad behavior. That's not what it's about at all. Detachment is about you. It's about protecting yourself, finding emotional safety, physical safety in some cases, and it gives you the opportunity to find peace and contentment regardless of the drinking status of the person you're with. So detachment allows you to pull yourself back from that nervous system activation. Sherry, you detached very naturally. You didn't detach because you read about it in a book or saw it on a video. It just happened over many years.
It wasn't something I set out to do. It wasn't a tool. It wasn't anything that I read. It was a reaction to the years of drinking and realizing. And that's when I also was realizing that the anxiety was bad, that I was walking on eggshells, that my anxiety was trickling down to the kids. And when I saw that, and then I started to kind of pull back. And it wasn't that I was not like engaging with you. I mean, if we had things to talk about about the kids and situations like that, but it was that sort of like if you were drinking and you were getting really upset about something that wasn't necessarily me or the kids, but business related or sports, I just didn't really engage, and I had stopped years before actually hanging out with you in the evenings a lot of the times, like especially on the weekends when you would drink and you would say, let's watch a movie. And I was like, well, I did that for a number of years, and I don't know if you ever saw the end of a movie because you usually
I was going to say, at least
out.
with a movie, you had a good chance I was going to be out.
But, on those few times that I did, I was like, okay, it had to be something that wasn't controversial. Wasn't going to get you worked up about something. So I would interact in smaller doses, but I also feel like I tried to really kind of stop when you were amped up. I stopped trying to fix it or having you explain to me or trying to reason with you about a different side of it. And I don't even know what I would say most of the time, I'm sure, because I couldn't come up with anything good, was like, oh wow, that stinks, those sort of things. And you weren't invited to a lot of things.
Yeah, that not engaging is a form of detachment. And like you said, you didn't learn about it. You just ran out of tolerance for me, and you lived it and worked through it. And so you've got a lot of lived experience. We have a lot of people in our Echoes of Recovery group with lived experience with attachment and different perspectives. And it's a big part of how you get out of that nervous system regulation or nervous system activation, because when you're constantly walking on those eggshells, when you're up all the time, it's another form of confusion. You are subjected to gaslighting. You're told that the things that you're seeing aren't really happening. And when you're in that state is, like I said, that's for fighting off a bear or running from a bear. That state is not meant for cognitive processing and logical thinking. And it prevents you from doing a lot of really good logical thinking. And so we talk a lot in Echoes of Recovery about validating your instincts and working away from your insecurities and helping you get out of that heightened nervous system state is a big way that we can help you, and you can help yourself to move past that confusion and to see the truth that's right there in front of you. Some of the techniques that we use, we do a lot of writing in Echoes of Recovery. We write our stuff. When we write our stuff, we just tend to go deeper. We tend to be a little bit more vulnerable, a little more expressive. We also have discussion sessions in Echoes of Recovery to help people work out of those heightened nervous system states. And so that's just a couple of the tools we use. A lot of interaction with people who really get it. That's a big part of it. So when you're asking yourself, do I belong in Echoes of Recovery? Don't think about the status of the drinker. Think about you. Think about, are you on eggshells a lot? Or do you just never know what's going to happen? Does that cause tension, sometimes physical manifestation of tension? And is that something that you want to work your way out of? And if so, we hope you'll consider joining us in Echoes of Recovery. And in the meantime, if you'd like to hear more of our opinionated ramblings, please check out our Untoxicated podcast.
And if you're more of the reading type, please go to soberandunashamed.com.
If you're picking up what we're laying down here, you might be ready to find your tribe. If you're in the mat role, check out shoutsobriety.org, or if you think you might belong in Echoes of Recovery, check out echoesofrecovery.org. We get what you're going through. You've got this, and we've got you.